Welcome back to this YouTube channel. It's your boy Citizen Qwadjo. If this is the first time you're seeing this face on your screens, kindly subscribe, like, share, comment as well, because your comments are always welcome on this YouTube channel. I have always said that the land called Africa is not poor. We just managing the affairs of our various countries. We are the people who are not being able to manage it, and that's why we are always considered as poor in our own land. And it's because of our mentality. It is because we have wicked leaders. It is because we do not have leaders who are generational thinkers, who do not seek the welfare of the common African, but they seek the welfare of their families and themselves. They always want to amass wealth for themselves and not for the continent Africa. This YouTube channel, we only talk about developmental issues that are bothering Africa, issues that are going to bring development in our countries. Those are the things that we talk about. So when an individual does something or a government does something which is recommendable, why not? We will praise that government or that individual. But when you go contrary to development, we will scold you respectably, because we want to change that perception, that narrative about Africa that we are poor. Look, I will never be happy as an African if things continue this way. We all know that the coronavirus that took the entire world by surprise last year caused so many havoc to many economies. Almost every country is suffering or is battling with its economy, and so people are finding it difficult to move on with life. Companies, businesses are collapsing, individuals are losing jobs and all that. And so governments upon governments in various countries are finding ways and means to make sure that their people have ways and means to make life better for themselves. I made a video saying that Corona was a blessing in disguise. I will leave the link to that video in my description. Look, Corona was and will always be a blessing in disguise. It was only Africa that we saw it as an enemy. We didn't see it as a means to enrich ourselves. Why am I saying this? When we were hit by this pandemic, quickly governments or countries started manufacturing their vaccines. Some started, coming up with businesses or companies providing PPEs and all that. Even in Ghana, the government did so well, supported individual companies to be able to be running their businesses. We also started providing or manufacturing few PPEs over here and all that. I thought we would continue, but it didn't happen that way. No, we didn't continue, and we left everything in the hands of Europeans to come and help us and all that. Fast forward, instead of us to take that opportunity to build companies out of this tragedy, we rather sought to go borrowing. We rather sought to the means of always borrowing, our natural habit of borrowing. We were borrowing, and we are still borrowing from IMF, from World Bank. A few days ago, I read in the news that World Bank, the president of World Bank, I think, is cautioning Ghana that our debt, our borrowing habit, we should desist from borrowing. We should desist from excess borrowing, else we are going to be in epic. We are going to suffer if we don't stop this excess borrowing. You know, I have always said that it is only in Africa that we borrow money to pay debt. What is really wrong with Africa? You go and borrow money to come and pay debt in Africa. At least borrow. We are not saying don't go and borrow. You can borrow. But when you are borrowing, from the little, you know, high school economics that I did, and this is even common sense. When you want to borrow, you go and borrow because you know that you are going to use that money to generate another money to pay that debt. That is why we go and borrow. But you don't go and borrow and then you come and spend the money. How do you expect to pay the money? How do you expect to pay the money? When you go and borrow and then you come and spend the money, how do you expect? At least go and borrow and come and, you know, construct roads. Put toll booths on them. Let that toll booth money be paying your debt. Go and borrow the money. Come and set up companies. The money that will be coming from the companies, use that money to go and pay the debt. Go and borrow money. Come and set up businesses. Come and mine our natural resources. The money that we are going to get, go and use that money to pay your debt. After which the business becomes your own. After which that road becomes your own. After you are done paying the debt. You don't go and borrow money and then you come and set it down. You come and use that money to come and pay teachers, to pay your security service, your presidential staffers, your people who are working, the labor. You go and borrow money to come and pay debt, to come and pay contractors. How do you expect you to get the money? How do you expect to generate the money? At least the little common sense that I have, the little economics that I did in high school. I know we don't go and borrow money to come and pay debt. We go and borrow money to make sure that when you borrow the money, you should know that there is a way that same money that you're going to borrow will generate an income that you are going to use to pay the debt. So that whatever you were using the money for will become yours. So even today, no, why do you go and borrow when you know that you are not going to be able to pay? And then you finish and then you go and beg IMF, you go and beg, what's the name? European countries that they should please pardon you and then, you know, just free you the money. They should please, you are begging them to just, you know, let you go scot-free. What is wrong with African leaders? In Ghana today, the World Bank president has warned our president that he should desist from that excessive borrowing because it makes no sense. It makes no sense that we go and borrow money and then we use it to pay debt. Ghana should desist from excessive borrowing. A country which has, you know, I just don't know what we don't have. I just don't know what we don't have. We have gold, diamond, bauxite, cocoa, cashew. Name it. Just name it. Even just our tourism. Just tourism can even pay our debts. If we are going to even borrow money to come and invest in tourism alone, that alone will pay our debt. That alone, just tourism can even pay our debt. Let's not let's not go and then be, setting up companies and all that. Let's just invest in tourism, just like it is being done in Dubai, just tourism. And you will see if we won't be able to pay our money. But we go and borrow the money, come back, and then make sure that we are going to pay debt. We just go and borrow the money, come and give it to people, and that is it. No, we need to reason as Africans, as leaders of our country. We need to reason up, else we are going to find it very difficult as a continent to develop. So please, I am happy. If it was just an ordinary politician who was telling the government to stop borrowing, people would have said, oh, it is out of pure hypocrisy, it is out of pure greediness, it is out of pure hatred. Yes, but this one, it is the World Bank president who is cautioning Ghanaians, and I'm happy. We are already suffering. Please don't come and add salt to injury. We are already suffering. So please, let's put in our efforts to make sure that we do everything humanly possible. We put in all efforts to make sure that we develop as a continent. We put in effort to develop as a continent. Because the excessive borrowing that is going on, we are really going to be in havoc. If we don't take care, we will be in havoc. And when that happens, that is when we are going to see that Corona was a blessing in disguise. We left it to go because we saw it as an enemy instead of we seeing it as a means to enrich ourselves. So we don't go and blame anyone, and that's why we are still borrowing. And I don't know when this borrowing will stop, because I don't see it. I just don't believe we are going to stop anytime soon. Nobody is saying don't borrow, but make sure that the borrowing that you are borrowing, you are going to generate money from that same money you've gone to borrow to pay your debt. This is at least a simple economics that I know, a simple common sense that I know. This is what it tells me. You don't borrow money to pay debts.